Xavier welcome back to another video. It's your boy Extract, and today we are on episode 6 of the coffee session. And on today's coffee session, we're gonna be talking about imposter syndrome and mastering a programming language. Repeat, mastering a programming language. I didn't specify mastering Java, I said mastering a programming language. So cool. So let's get started with our first elephant in the room, which is imposter syndrome. You know, I'm gonna bring in a personal perspective. A quick story. I work in a team of about 5 to 6, and sometimes I feel like a fraudster in that team because I feel like I'm not good enough. Besides me not feeling like not good enough, I feel like I'm not qualified enough. Why? Because I probably didn't finish my CS degree and I got into the working space through a boot camp or a program. So that somewhat makes me have, that little bit doubt and makes me feel like I am a fraudster. So basically, I don't deserve to be there and I'm not good enough. And I feel like I'll never really be good enough and I don't fit in. And just like that, that happens to me way often than it's supposed to because of those major things. For example, like I mentioned, I feel like I'm not qualified. I feel like I'm a fraudster. Like if I'm to sit down with everyone in the team, some have PhDs, some have like they're smart. Okay, they're very smart because they've been able to accomplish what I couldn't accomplish, which in turn makes me to have something called the imposter syndrome. So I feel like I'm never good enough for the team. I'm never good enough for myself. Like there's a lot of doubt that goes into it. And I never realized how much it actually affects my performance, and how much it affects me working with a team. Because, imposter syndrome makes you to feel like you're not good enough. It puts you in a corner and you want to be alone, and it makes you work harder than everybody else. And I never understood it until maybe a year or two ago. That's when I started understanding what the hell is imposter syndrome. So for people that don't know, like imposter syndrome is that feeling that you are an imposter, and it's a syndrome. So you feel like a fraud or a fake. So wherever you are, it doesn't matter what profession you're in, you just feel like, am I really the developer that I think I am, or the accountant that I think I am? Am I good enough to be working in this team because this team is full of people that are smart, people that are knowledgeable? And you find yourself in situations where you're like, damn, how did I even get here? Like it feels too good to be true. You feel like you're conning everybody. And someone I know, a friend of mine, would say, yeah, actually you are conning everybody, but as a joke. But what I want to say is, once you understand and once you see the imposter syndrome, you then become more aware on how to handle it. So one of the things that I started doing is talking about it. Like if I feel like I'm not good enough, I'll reach out to one of my teammates, and I feel like, actually, bruh, I don't think I'm good enough to do this job. It's like, wait, what? What, you? I mean, like, we come to you for assistance. It gives you that reassurance that actually you're not a fraudster. And when you look at the work that you did previously, it makes you understand that actually I'm not a fraudster because I have a lot of evidence that I've done in the past that proves that I actually know what I'm doing and I know the job that I'm doing. And I think also something that also triggers me to be in a imposter syndrome mode is that I always want to know it all. Like I always want to be involved in everything. And that taught me that you should not be a know-it-all because you'll never know everything. And that's how imposter syndrome creeps in, because you feel like you don't know everything. And because you feel like you don't know anything, you start doubting yourself, especially when people start having a conversation about something that you didn't do or you're clueless about. Instead of you asking questions, actually, guys, I don't know what that is. Do you mind telling me, giving me an idea what actually that is, so that I can be able to search it and look it up? And yeah, guys, I think in my past 2 years, I've learned to deal with imposter syndrome by just doing three basic things: talk about it, look at the work that I've done in my past, and also ask for help. If I don't know something, it's okay not to know. It's okay not to know everything. Those are my top three, and I just wanted to cover that regarding imposter syndrome. It doesn't matter how many years of experience you have, you'll still have it either way. But once you become aware of it, it's easier for you to deal with it, and it's easier for you to be vocal about it. And if you are out there and you're dealing with imposter syndrome, maybe you are dealing it in a different way from the three ways that I've mentioned. Please put a comment down below. And yeah, I think that's it, guys, for my imposter syndrome. So let's just get into the mastering of a programming language. On the matter of mastering a language, this might get a little bit tricky, and also I might offend other people. But the most important thing is the message that I'm trying to push across. So, mastering a programming language, it separates, the goat from the sheep, if you know what I mean. So, it's not just about memorizing the syntax. Why you should master a language, it's not about memorizing the syntax, but it's all about, the fluency, thinking in the language. For example, right now I'm thinking in English instead of thinking in my native language for me to translate into English. That's what the thinking part talks about. If you think in Java, so whenever somebody communicates to you, you can already solution something, or you can think in Java with the reference of the language. So that's where now we talk about the fluency. And once you jump into the efficiency, it's not just about writing code that is correct or code that works, but it's all about writing code that is fast and also lean. So those are the things that you grow with it as you master the language, because obviously practice makes perfect. Now, moving on to the other point, which is problem solving, which I think this is the most important thing. Sometimes we use the wrong tools for the right job instead of using the right tools for the right job. So, this is where your problem solving comes in. Using the right tool, right, for the job from your mental toolkit, meaning that all of this is just coming from your brain. You can just, get it from your brain and be able to easily direct it in the angle where you want it to be. And I think the last part from mastering, what does it mean to master a language? This is where now you need to understand the ecosystem, how the ecosystem works. For example, the Java ecosystem, how I need to understand, your frameworks in Java, the libraries in Java, and the tools that other people use. So, sorry about that. My mic ran out of battery. It happens to the best of us. But anyway, guys, I think I was still covering the understanding of the ecosystem, because it's quite important for us to understand the ecosystem. And, you you get to understand how libraries work and how frameworks work, and you get to understand other tools that other developers use, and or other experts rather, what they use. So when you have to compare a beginner and a person who's mastering a programming language, there are quite simple things that you can easily pick up. For example, how they look at writing code. For example, a beginner will write the code that just works, because it doesn't matter how messy it is, because they treat it like a first draft, and then yeah, you know how they do it after that, and then you'll complain that, nah, man, we can't maintain this code, it's not readable, they're using too many parameters, blah, 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 and so on. When you're mastering a language, you then start focus on, is the code good? Is it good quality code? You know, I have a friend at work where we always talk about, the code that I wrote yesterday is trashier than the code that I'm writing today. I'm saying today's code is so trash because tomorrow when I look at my code from today and yesterday, all the code, all of it will be trash. So, anyways, going back to the difference between a beginner and a person who masters the language is that you focus more on the clean and readability of the code. Is the code clean? Is it readable? Can other people understand the code, and can they build on top of it? Can they add on top of what's already existing? Is the code maintainable? Easy to update? Is it? Can I just easily update? Or if I touch one thing, I'm gonna break chains. I'm gonna break another process in the chain. That's what maintainability is talking about. And is it ready for the future? Can it be plugged and played in the near future? That's just the question. And is it scalable? I think this is where the part of, is it ready for the future? Is it scalable? Can it handle growth? Can it handle more users? Will it not affect the performance? And so on and so on and so on and so on. There's just quite a lot that one can talk about in terms of mastering a language. But the most important thing is you being able to fluently think in the language, you being able to know when to use the right tool and when not to use a specific tool, makes you grow, like from a junior dev to an intermediate dev to a senior dev to a team lead. You start understanding why certain people don't write code as much as they should. There's a friend of mine once mentioned that I'm a typewriter, meaning that I just like typing on the keyboard. I just write code and I spend less time thinking. And when I sat down and I realized, I'm like, actually, that's so true, because how much time do I spend thinking and how much time do I spend writing the code? And it looks like I spend more time writing code instead of thinking. But also in my defense, I mean, I was thinking in Java, so I had already solutioned the whole thing in my mind. So I was just interpreting what I was already thinking. However, sometimes you have blind spots, even if you're thinking in the language. So you can think in the language, but sometimes, not always, you just need to think above and beyond. And this is what software engineering is all about: solving problems and being able to solve and build efficient softwares to the users and the people that are using it out there. I know I talk too much. Thank you for tuning in into today's coffee session. So, if you have any questions, have any concerns, and if you feel like I didn't do any justice, please feel free to leave a comment down below on the comment sections. And if you are a returning user, thank you for coming back. Did I just use did I just say user? See, this is a problem with programming, guys. You start thinking see other people as users and clients. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one. Cheers. Bye bye.